Hi, this is Gadgetman 404 and I just want to show you the new look i1 Xtreme by RC Logger. Basically I've had a refit. What I've actually done is I've taken all my components off my i1 Xtreme and fitted them onto this Hobby King Diatone frame. I think it's called the Switchblade 200, so it's 200mm. Reason why I wanted that size, I didn't feel confident in soldering extensions to my wires and things like that, so I just wanted something that's a bit bigger than what I already had, but not too big, so I didn't have to do too many modifications as I'm just getting into this hobby. I'll do a little walk round and I'll show you what's what, and I'll show you what I've done. Now, this is the frame. Now, it's basically, it folds up. You undo those two Allen keys and those two and those two and those two, and these arms, they fold that way, close to the body, and that one folds close to the body, like so. This Velcro strap was actually from my power supply to my laptop. I had an old little plastic, whatever that's called, I don't really know what it's called, but anyway I had one of those, so I stitched it onto there, Velcroed it round, and when I put my battery on, I Velcro my battery underneath, but then I also, just to keep the canopy in place and the battery, I use this Velcro strap. I call it a battery holder. I've been to lots of model shops and they don't seem to sell these anymore for some reason, and yeah, on YouTube I've seen loads of people using them, but maybe it's an old thing and they're not used anymore. But anyway, I'll show you under the hood of the i1 Xtreme and how I've fitted it all. Basically, this quadcopter comes with an FPV setup. There's like another rig. You have another plate that fits under there, and then under there there's another cage where you put your FPV camera, your battery pack, transmitter, receiver, all those gubbins. Now, in the actual real i1 Xtreme, where those holes are, where the zip ties are, there is like a rubber grommet with a piece of spacer plastic underneath from the main frame. So what I've actually done is I've got a piece of isolation foam and I've cut it so thick, and then I've just made holes into it, and I've just zip tied it to the frame. Now, this frame should be at the bottom and there should be another frame on top, but with the canopy you can't fit the other frame on top because the canopy is too thick. So I left off the bottom frame and just put the bottom frame for the top frame, and it flies absolutely perfectly. I mean, this is a new flight control board that I got sent from RC Logger. Issues with my motors not arming on the right side. I sent it away and they replaced the new flight control board and also the canopy and some LEDs, etc. So for the build, what I've actually done, as you can see, the flight control board, it's just zip tied, goes up and around. It's not very tight, so it's still got a bit of play to, you know, sort of like vibrations. Those little black little gadgets there, that's where you plug your LED bulbs in if you want to still use them. I can't because the frame's in the way, but the ones at the front I could actually, because there's a hole, and I could have the LED coming through the bottom, which is good for orientation, because when you've got blades all the same colour you do lose your which way. When you're banking, sometimes you drift a little bit, and then you're thinking which way's forward, which way's back. If you sort of, you know, lose concentration for a split second. How I've fitted the motor mounts. Look, I've used the existing mounts. There's lots of holes in the frame, which is where you would normally bolt the motors to the arms. So what I've actually done is I've used those holes, and I've gone over the motor mounts. There's a slight angle, as you can see. It doesn't affect the flight at all. And just to hold them down. Zip ties break on impact. I've had not heavy impacts, I've had impacts and they haven't broke, and that is good, so that means I'm not smashing it down. I am interested if anyone knows if we can fit bigger motors. I don't know the kV ratings for this quadcopter. I've rang the shop, which is where I purchased it from, in Leicester, and they couldn't tell me. They said, oh, you can do a test where for every volt, you know, every revolution, you know, it's 1 volt per 100 revolutions or whatever. I don't exactly know how it works. But if anyone knows what these kV ratings are, and if they know what we can go up to maximum, please drop me a line, give me a comment, email me, that type of thing, because I would like to fit bigger motors if possible. As I say, I've done it for all the motor mounts. These are Gemfan 6045s, which are non-stock props. These are ABS, so they're really rigid, and with a 4.5 you get a lot of lift, and to lock them in place I just turn the locking nut upside down, still use the rubber washer under there, and you get a pack of spacers which you fit over the shaft. That clicks onto there, job done. My camera mount, well, it's like a bit of Velcro at the moment to any vibration, and literally there's like an adjustable strap. The camera sort of goes facing outwards, or it can go underneath. I'm thinking of extending these legs because there's another plate, as I've said, that goes under here, and then there's another spacer set that are a good 2-3 inches long, and basically I might take these off and replace them with those, so we've got longer legs basically. But for, you know, I think the frame cost me like £20, something like that, £15–20. It is a light frame. I think it, as this format, it weighs about 85 grams, I think, and it is very, very strong. It's way stronger than the existing frame that you get, because that was the one problem with the frame. It was plastic. I think it weighs 30 grams, so yeah, you've got plenty of lift with these motors with that frame because it's plastic and light. But as I say, with 60/45s, it lifts this frame no problem at all. I've just purchased some HQ props, and these are bullnose. Please drop me a line again. I'm not sure what bullnose, you know, why bullnose are better than the pointy ones. I honestly don't know, but as you can see, you get 2 clockwise and 2 anti-clockwise in a pack, or 1 of each in a pack. Spacer just goes in there, washer upside down. These are 5" by 4.5s. These on at the moment are 6" by 4.5s. Now, when you go onto Hobby King and you play the video for the switchblade, and there's about 2 other frames that they're talking about, he says you can only use 5 inch props. Well, as you can see, the gap at the front on a 6-inch prop is a good ½ an inch. Yeah, it's not that good on the side, but there is still clearance. Yeah, it's very close, but I've been flying it round and it's not caused an issue. The only thing is I can't have my camera mounted on the top plate because it's too wide and obviously they hit, so maybe that is the only reason why you can't have 6-inch. But fly wise, I've used 6-inch, I've flown it a few times and there's no issue. They don't clash, they don't hit each other, so in my mind you can use them. So I might drop Hobby King an email to say, well, I'm using 6 inches and there's no issue, so maybe you should change your you can only use 5-inch. But maybe that's the reason why, you know, because of you want to mount anything on the top, then obviously it's going to get hit. I can still mount my receiver, my antenna for my FPV on the underside of this and have the aerial coming out quite a bit and then going up, and I still think there'll be clearance. So yeah, this is the new and improved Ion Xtreme. The firmware is the latest firmware on this flight control board. I believe it's version 31. Received it literally about 2 weeks ago. It's been ongoing with them for quite a while and eventually they've replaced it. I think it's a very clean finish. There's no solders, there's no taped wires. You know, the only thing visible are the cable ties. There's a little screw underneath that I go into the underside of this. And basically, I think this is a real neat looking quadcopter now. You know, this looks like a quadcopter that you could buy in a shop, I think. And then all you do is just make sure you're not trapping any wires. Put the lid on, as I have done. And then what I do is I just get the Velcro and put it round. So as I say, this is the new and very much improved. There you go. This is the new Ion Xtreme by RC Logger. Just moved everything from the existing frame to this new frame. 200mm. Didn't cost the earth. It's very, very strong. If anybody knows of the KV rating for these motors, if they could please let me know. If anyone knows of what's the maximum motors these will take, as these have got 3 wires and most motors only have 2, so I don't know what the 3 wires are for. Someone says it means they're censored, so it gives little bits of power, it knows the input, whereas some motors are just full throttle all the way. These ones are sort of staggered. You have low power, medium and then high, and it's smooth transition. I mean, you know, that's what I was told in a shop. I don't know if that is the case, but this is, I think, a far stronger frame. It looks like a decent quad now. You know, I've got 6-inch 4.5s on at the moment by Gadgetman. Please tell me what you think. I'll just move this. That's an overhead view. There's my stock controller, which I don't like. I am trying to get a Futaba something or other, which then I'll need a receiver, which I'm sure I should be able to fit it on here somewhere. Here's all the stock propellers that I have, which I don't use because they're very brittle. They're very, very soft plastic, but there is a centre hub there that when you put it onto the motor shaft it locks onto like a locking nut, because there's like a nut shape, like a 50p piece hexagon or whatever, yeah, in there. So when you hit something, that is locked in place. So then the only thing that can happen is it shears off these. Now there's one supplier in the UK that sell these propellers, and they don't always have them in stock. So you need a set of propellers quick, and you want stock propellers, you can't get them until they get them supplied. So I use gem fans, and I've had no issues, or HQs and gem fans. And basically I've ordered a set of tri-blades, again 5" by 4.5" pitch. I've ordered a very stiff pair of carbon fibre blades, again 5" 4.5" pitch, and the tries. As I say, I've got the standard bullnose there, they came today, 5" 4.5. They're called HQ prop, and they look they're very rigid, you know, which is great, because I think gem fans are quite flexible at times as well, and if you've got a heavier frame and it's a bit breezy, then the blades actually wobble, so that gives you the unsteady flight characteristics. It's not so much the flight control board, it could be your propellers. So that's why I'm testing out really stiff propellers to see if that actually helps. And these are ABS 6" 4.5s, and they're very, very stiff. You know, you really have to give them a good old bend, whereas these ones, you know, I can push it with my thumb, it bends really easy. I can't. That, you know, is really stiff. And as you can see, these, I'm not pressing hardly at all, and they're really bendy, very brittle, and they break very, very easy. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a message on the questions I've asked earlier, if there's a better way to mount the motors, because as you can see the motors just overhang slightly on each arm, but it's not causing any issues in flight. But if you know of a better way, because this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, but for a first attempt I think it's a good job. It looks nice, it looks tidy, and it flies really well. So yeah, please like, subscribe, leave me a message, and I get back to all my people that have left me messages in the past. And please, if you can help me out by, I want to get bigger batteries to have more flight time, and I want to change the battery connector. I've seen some videos, but they're in China, and then you can't send the person a message for some reason. I don't know, because China have blocked messages, I don't know. But basically I can't send their people a message, and all the parts are in Chinese, so I don't actually know what the parts are called because I can't read Chinese. So if anyone knows of how to do a little adapter so you can fit a JST or other type of battery, I'll be really, really interested in hearing from you guys. And also if we can fit bigger motors, because I'd like to, you know, the motors that Hobby King say, these aren't those motors, these are stock, whatever RC logger supply, and it doesn't state anywhere what kV rating they are. Yeah, this has been Gadgetman 404. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, Gadgetman 404 out.